Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Monday, the 3rd of April. Pakistan violates ceasefire in India's Kashmir. Afghan ethnic Hazaras protest presidential visit in Australia. And now for all the details. In two separate incidents, Indian security forces battled violence in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province. In the morning, Pakistani troops resorted to unprovoked ceasefire violation along the line of control. Later, a convoy of the paramilitary forces was attacked by unknown gunmen.
In a ceasefire violation, the Pakistan Army on Monday resorted to unprovoked firing and shelling at Indian positions along the de facto border, the Line of Control or LOC, in northern Jammu and Kashmir province. An exchange of fire ensued between the two sides as Indian soldiers retaliated. Firing was reported from Poonch district and Bhimbar Gali or BG sector. Clouds of white smoke were seen rising from the forested area near the border as Pakistan fired mortar shells. Residents cowered inside their homes and avoided stepping out amid heavy firing. Pakistan Army also fired automatic and small arms. No casualties have been reported so far.
Today morning, Pakistan Army carried out unprovoked ceasefire violation at two places. The first violation took place in the Poonch sector at 9:30 in the morning, and the second ceasefire violation has taken place in the BG sector at 10 o'clock in the morning. The Pakistan Army is firing mortars, automatics and small arms and has resorted to an unprovoked, uncalled for ceasefire violation.
Later, in capital Srinagar, at least 6 Central Reserve Police Force or CRPF personnel were injured after few unknown gunmen attacked their convoy near Pantha Chowk. The injured were immediately rushed to a hospital. The convoy was travelling from Jammu to Srinagar and was on election duty.
Meanwhile, Afghan President Ashraf Ghani is on a 3-day visit to Australia to strengthen security ties between the two countries. On his first day in the country, more than 1,000 people from Australia's Hazara community protested in capital Canberra.
Australian Hazaras, a long marginalised ethnic minority, many of whom have fled from Afghanistan, gathered together to protest Afghan President Ashraf Ghani's visit to Canberra on Monday. Protesters said that they were calling on the Australian government to push the Afghan government for accountability, transparency and equal development. Hazaras were persecuted by the Sunni Taliban during its 1996 to 2001 rule in Afghanistan, causing many to flee. The Taliban regime, which fell in 2001, brought hope that Hazaras' lives would improve, but recent attacks often claimed by Islamic State suggest otherwise.
I would like to ask the Australian government and Australian civil societies to stand up for supporting democracy, human rights, gender equality, transparency, and push the Afghan government for accountability, transparency and equal development.
Earlier, Afghan President Ashraf Ghani was welcomed by Australia's Governor-General Peter Cosgrove in Canberra for a visit aimed at strengthening security ties. Ghani met his Australian counterpart Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull and held talks focusing on security, development and empowering women.
In news from Pakistan, 20 people were tortured and killed in an attack at a Pakistan shrine. The police have arrested 3 suspects, including the Sufi shrine's custodian, after reports of an attack by men wielding batons and knives.
"20 people were tortured and then murdered with clubs and knives at a Pakistani Sufi shrine," the police said. On Sunday morning, in an attack purportedly carried out by the shrine's custodian and several accomplices, 4 others were wounded at the shrine located on the edge of Sargodha. a remote town in the Punjab region. The custodian of the shrine, Abdul Wahid, called on the worshippers to visit the shrine and then attacked them with his accomplices, police officials stated.
किस्मत लोग जिनको रात के अंधेरे में कत्ल किया गया, इसकी जितनी भी मजम्मत की जाए वो कम है। चीफ मिनिस्टर साहब ने सुबह ही एक कमेटी कॉन्स्टिट्यूट कर दी थी, जिसकी आरपीओ साहब जो है वो खुद निगरानी कर रहे हैं। 20 के करीब लोग जो हैं वो अपनी जान से गए और तकरीबन 4 लोग जो हैं वो जख्मी हैं।
Wahid was arrested and told police during his interrogation that he believed his victims were out to kill him. In recent months, Sufi shrines have been targeted by extremist Sunni militants who consider themselves heretics, including a suicide bombing by Islamic State that killed more than 80 worshippers at a shrine in Lal Shahbaz Qalandar Shrine in southern Sindh province.
Staying on news from Pakistan, women and girls in Pakistan continue to face barriers to employment and representation in the social platform. In order to challenge male dominance of public spaces in the country, a female-only bike race was held in major cities of Pakistan.
Dozens of women in Pakistan took part in female-only bike race in major cities on Sunday. The event was organized to challenge male dominance of public spaces in the country. The bike race was one of the major events organized in the last few years by a Pakistani feminist group, Girls at Hazaras.
I drive on these roads all the time. But this was maybe the first time that I got to experience them while biking.
Okay.
And I just loved the feeling of freedom with the breeze in my hair.
It's part of a much greater narrative. It's part of a much greater issue that is just not proper for us to be out there, and that leads to harassment, that leads to violence, and we need to normalize.
Members of the group say they are a new generation of Pakistani feminists determined to build on progress made by the predecessors. They have for years promoted female participation in public events, fight restrictions faced by women in public places, and increase awareness.
Moving on to news from Nepal, Madhesi leader Mahanta Thakur has said the Madhesi Morcha, an alliance of 7 Madhesi-based parties, will not participate in the local level elections until constitutional amendment bill is endorsed.
Nepal Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal-led government is making efforts to ensure the Madhesi Morcha's participation in the local level elections scheduled for May 14. However, Madhesi leaders have rejected Dahal's request and said that the participation will be done only after past agreements are translated into action.
जनसंख्या के दृष्टिकोण से, भौगोलिक उसके दृष्टिकोण से जो है भी अभी ये नहीं मिला है, इसलिए इसमें भी जो है संशोधन आवश्यक है। अगर ऐसा नहीं हुआ, संविधान संशोधन हम लोग अभी तक पूर्णतः अपने ही आरान में है कि यदि परिमार्जन सहित संशोधन नहीं हुआ और इसमें स्थानीय संशोधन नहीं हुआ तो हम लोग जो है किसी भी तरह के चुनाव का विरोध करेंगे और भाग भी नहीं हम लोग लेंगे.
Thakur said Madhesis are firm on their demand for redrawing the province boundaries and changes in the provisions related to language and representation in the National Assembly. The Himalayan nation has been embroiled in political unrest ever since the new constitution was adopted in 2015.
A large number of tourists thronged India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province to catch a glimpse of tulips at Asia's largest tulip garden. The climate of the Kashmir Valley is best suited for the growth of this flower, which is now in full bloom.
Asia's largest tulip garden in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province opened for tourists. The Indira Gandhi Memorial Tulip Garden, located on the foothills of Zabarwa Hill in capital Srinagar, overlooks the famous Dal Lake. The garden opens for 15 days. Over 2 million tulips of 46 varieties have been planted in the garden spread over an area of 15 hectares. By April, tulips are usually in full bloom in and around Srinagar, lending an ethereal atmosphere to the valley.
I just landed in Srinagar 2 days back, and I'm lucky enough to experience this, as this opens only for 1 month. We didn't know about it. Once we came here, the localites told us that this is open only for 1 month. So I'm feeling very happy, and I know the hard work of making these flowers blossom like this.
The average lifespan of tulip flower is 3 to 4 weeks, but heavy rains or harsh summers can destroy them. More tourists are expected in the garden till April 15. The Kashmir Valley is considered as one of the best tourist destinations in the world, with its soaring peaks, picturesque locations and hospitality.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. Pakistan violates ceasefire in India's Kashmir. Afghan ethnic Hazaras protest presidential visit in Australia. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. Well, that's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.